Legalizing weed does not go far enough to end the war on drugs. White folks are making money from the same marijuana that put black and brown people in prison. Even though more than half of the states in the country have legalized weed in some form, the actual victims of the war on drugs are still being left out. Some legal states won't even let those former convicts work in the industry because they previously smoked or sold weed. And the fallout from that is impossible to deny. A survey of more than 3,200 marijuana dispensaries in the United States found that fewer than 50 are owned by black people. 15 out of 145 applications to grow medical marijuana in Maryland were approved, but none were approved for black applicants, despite the fact that the state has racial diversity requirements for growing licenses. Now, I know when most people think of legal weed, other things come to mind, like lines pouring out the doors at dispensaries or smoke-filled 420 celebrations, and of course, all the weed puns.
At 420, this place really lit up.
National high, 5-day.
That's all well and good, but just because a state legalizes weed doesn't mean everyone gets to celebrate, because the millions of people who were arrested, convicted, and jailed over weed are still suffering the consequences. And that group happens to be mostly black, Hispanic, and low income. Black people are 3.7 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana possession than white people. 3.7 times, even though black and white people use marijuana at about the same rate. And those former convictions can still come back to haunt them in the form of denied housing loans, denied job applications, and in some states, the inability to register to vote. It should not be that way, and it doesn't have to be either. After it legalized recreational marijuana in 2015, Oregon made it easier for courts to set aside past convictions for marijuana offenses. Other communities are going even further to right the wrong of the war on drugs. Los Angeles and Oakland are implementing new programs that aim to prioritize legal marijuana permits for people with marijuana convictions. They will also prioritize permit applicants whose neighborhoods were hit hardest by marijuana arrests. Low-income black and Latino communities across the country have experienced disproportionate rates of arrest and incarceration for drug offenses. And it's time to finally fix the injustice of the war on drugs. And with this administration, make sure they don't start a new war on drugs. Share this video if you know we must end systemic racism in the marijuana industry.